Welcome to the Joe Watts podcast. I am Joao Vendramini from the University of Florida, and today our guest is Dr. Leandro Cruppe. Dr. Cruppe, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure, Professor Joe.
Dr. Cruppe, can you please introduce yourself and give us some background information about you?
Yes, for sure. So here is Leandro Cruppe with his Select Sires. I graduated back in 2008, got my DVM at São Paulo State University. And then I went to the US for my master's and PhD with Professor Mike Day, the Ohio State University. During that time, got close to the Select Sires folks, working on some progeny tests and some experiments, some projects with time and AI. So we got pretty close, had some ideas about improving the semen quality in Brazil, especially on the Angus breed. Start talking about that, start sending semen down to Brazil back in 2011 on special bulls. And then 2014, I got an invitation after I finished my PhD to continue that project in Brazil with Select Sires. Then I moved back to my hometown country, and here I am.
And Dr. Cruppe, the explosion of AI in Brazil is something fascinating in beef cattle that I think it's unheard. And can you please share some of the numbers and mainly focus on beef cattle on the purebred and the commercial side? Can you please share some numbers? What is the volume over there?
Yeah, let's do that. So the main reasons for why AI is getting very popular in Brazil is basically, if you go back to the principles of breeding a cow by AI. So you have the chance to use the best bulls. You don't need to buy a bull in the market. You have the chance to breed more animals in the beginning of the breeding season. You got to remember that we have an extremely high dry season in Brazil, and most of the cows at the beginning of the breeding season are in anesters. So the only way to get those animals bred is by synchronizing their ovulation and breeding by AI. So let's talk about the last 2 years. If you think about 2020, Brazil sold about 20 million units of semen. That's dairy and beef. And if you think about the growth only in the last 90 months, the first three trimesters, so we have an increase of 27% of beef semen sales. So we went from about 11 million units of 2020 in the same period to end of September to almost 15 million units by the end of September 2021. So it is a huge increase. So we're thinking about a 25% increase on beef semen sales. That means 25% more cows being bred by the best bulls in the world.
And if you think about the overall cattle herd, let's say the beef cattle herd, there will be about 180, 200 million, right? And then let's say the 80 million, between 80 million, 100 million are cows. So you are saying that probably they are selling about 10% or even more, 15% of the number of cows that we have in Brazil. Now they are selling in semen, right? About 15 million, correct?
Yes, Joe, it's even more than that. We don't think our herd in Brazil, it's more than 160 million heads nowadays. And if you think about half of that are cows or heifers ready to be bred, we're imagining something closer to 25% of all the available females being bred by AI beef females being bred by AI in Brazil. So we went from that 10, 12% 5 years ago to about 25% right now. So we doubled that participation on those beef cows. It is improving fast, and several reasons. We used to buy excellent bull, clean up bull for about, I would say, $3,000 in an auction, Nelore bull, our most popular breed. And nowadays you won't buy for less than $5,000 that same bull, talking about its genomic values. So it is getting expensive to have a bull.
And do you also think that is because now with the increase in crossbreeding, it's very difficult to have like a European bull working on more harsh environments and high temperatures and humidity? So do you think that is another reason why the AI became very popular?
That's for sure, Joe. In my mind, people don't like me saying that, but it's almost impossible to have a Angus bull performing in most regions here in Brazil during the breeding season. So the only way you can do crossbreeding in these Nelore cows is by AI. No chance those bulls will perform in central and north of Brazil that you know a lot about these regions. They won't go. But if you think about it, something new is happening. Let me tell you that about 3 years ago, we used to breed more cows with Angus semen, a little bit more, 10% more than Nelore. However, if you look at this year's numbers, we are breeding much more cows with Nelore semen, Bosídico semen than Angus. So I guess we didn't do a good job in the past making our replacements, and now the producers realized the only way to have good replacements if you make them at home. Good replacements are not in the Brazilian market, Joe.
Yeah, and that's an interesting number, and it's also interesting that a lot of the Angus that is used in Brazil, they pretty much finish the males and females, right? There is very little F1s that become like mama cows. They all go to the slaughterhouse, correct?
You're exactly right. They are terminals. About 95% of the F1 crossbreds are terminals. Both females and the male steers, they will be harvested. If you look at the Brangus numbers here on semen sales, it seems that 2021 we'll be selling about 400,000 units of Brangus semen, and most of that Brangus goes to F1, Angus and Bosídicos. So that's not much. That's not much. And we will sell more than 7 million units of Angus semen this year. So we can tell that we can say that we have about 2 million F1 heifers available to be bred by AI, and that's not happening. We're breeding less than 10% of those. So those numbers make perfect sense. Yeah.
And we start talking about the Angus breed, and it seems that is a natural transition in the conversation because, as you said, it is the most popular breed to be crossbred with the Nelore. So when the Brazilian market wanna buy semen from Angus, what they are looking for, what are the type of bulls, and what are the traits that are more popular in the AI market in Brazil? How people select the bull?
Yeah, first of all, the majority of the Angus that we use in Brazil, they come from the US. They're all American bulls. We are doing some good work here on our Angus genetics, but it's so far away from what you guys have in the US available, and it's pretty easy to get that semen down here. Several traits. Most of the producers, since their animals are terminal, and the slaughter plants here, don't pay a very good premium on quality of their carcass. So growth, we can summarize in two EPDs, winning weight and yearling weight. So you can see several top 1% bulls for those two EPDs coming down here in Brazil and selling a lot. More important than those two EPDs, fertility at time AI. That's the main characteristic that people are looking for. Those bulls are gotta be good, gotta be fertile on our systems of time and AI. And then, and in the market's always changing and it changes fast, the best producers in the country looking for some other characteristics. They are anticipating what's probably gonna happen in the near future, which is what you guys do in the US very well, looking for marbling, looking for ribeye area. But one difference that we don't care too much about Kevin Easy, Joe. We use those animals on these Nelore heifers and cows, and they are a little different, and we don't see any problems at birth. So we can use some bulls that are not very popular in the US. They're bulls that are not Kevin Easy, and they will do very well down here.
And this is primarily for Nelore and Angus, or also for other breeds? The Kevin Easy thing, it's more an Angus trait, or for other breeds as well?
No, if you think about using Nelore in Nelore, you be very, very careful of that Kevin Easy in birth weight EPDs, and almost in all other breeds. But when you're doing that crossbreeding, that Angus that comes from the US, most of them are Kevin Easy anyway. They are probably not Kevin Easy for your parameters, but they are Kevin Easy. They were selected the last 50 years for that characteristic. And so that Angus on Nelore cows are not very important, the Kevin Easy trait, but all other breeds, we look careful at that.
And we start talking a little about the other traits, such as the ribeye area and marbling. And so when I have the opportunity to visit with you and JBJ, the program that they have, and can you please describe for us, because that's quite impressive to have that volume, right? And connecting the cow-calf producer to a feedlot. Can you please describe briefly the program for us?
For sure. And it was a pleasure to have you here, Professor Joe, during that visit. That program is really something. So all that beef is going to the Swift Black brand made by JBS. And the only way we can get animals that are half-blood Angus with all the carcass quality that the market needs is to choose the producers that will be selling those calves to the program, to choose the nutrition since they are born, to choose a very good vaccination program, and to choose the right bulls. That program used to have 3/4 of Angus blood on the animals. But you know what happens with 3/4 in Brazil. They won't perform very well. They won't be great in terms of parasites, in terms of our weather, which is, as you said, very hot and humid. So that program was not doing well until we made a F1 Angus, half-blood Nelore to replace those 3/4. The program has grown since you came here. This year, we're going to be harvesting close to 68,000 steers and heifers. For next year, we had contracted 86,000 heads. And for 2023, we will reach the 100,000 heads in that program. So it's going very well. We have about 50 producers that will send calf to us between 6 and 8 months of age, between 500 and 600 pounds. They will stay on feed for about 180 days, and will be sent to the slaughterhouse on a very vertical program. So we have control of the calves, we have control of the feedlot, and we have control of the slaughter plant and how that beef is going to be cut, to where that beef goes. We have a very good quality control program that goes overseas. We're sending a lot of that beef to China, England, and some other countries. And the only way is to have good partners to keep sending us the calves on the way we want, the way we need.
And Leandro, please describe to us how those bulls that go in the program, like the number of bulls that you go in the program, and how they probably differ from the general pool of bulls that you sell in the market, right?
Perfect. So what the producer wants, how the producer is going to be paid for in pounds. So what he wants is bulls that are going to make calves as heavier as possible at weaning. So what they're looking for, great EPDs for weaning weight. That's basically what our partners, the people that produce those calves for us, are looking for. What we are looking for, we want bulls with a large frame. You gotta grow fast. There is no background on this system. It goes straight from the cow to the feedlot. So we want a frame. We want earling weight. We want to earling weight, those as heavy as possible. But what we really want, what the industry wants, what the consumer wants is high marble, high marble. They want to go to the grocery store and see the fat between the muscle. So we need high marbling bulls. They gotta be top 1% for marbling, and we want a big ribeye area. So it's easy to choose bulls to this program. They gotta be fertile. The producers want high pregnancy rates at time in AI. They gotta deliver black calves. It sounds funny, but we have some bulls that won't deliver fully black calves, and that's a problem for this program. It gotta be a minimum top 5% for weaning weight, early weight, marbling in ribeye area. That's basically what you want. I can give you some examples if you let me. On the Select Sires catalog, you can find bulls like Abundance, Gardner Phoenix, Gardner Bulletproof, Teamwork, 44 Final Decision, and several others, several others, especially from Gardner and 44 Farms. Those are the two places, our two main sources of high growth and high marbling bulls, Gardner and 44 Farms, Professor Joe.
And to find those, Leandro, that will have growth and will have those carcass traits, they are probably selected bulls, right? Because it's not easy to put together all the top fives, right? On those traits all together in one bull is not something that you find very easy.
Exactly, Joe. We have been working with these bulls forever. You will find one or two in every in all the others AI companies. However, in great numbers like ours, we have about 40 bulls with these traits. So that's why JBJ and JBS select sires as their source of genetics, because we have good ones and a lot of good ones.
And Dr. Cruppe, we are going towards the end of our conversation here. And I really would like to thank you for taking the time to visit with us again. And I am Joao Vendramini.
Joe, what?